Hello, fellow horror enthusiasts. Today, I'm cozied up in this hotel room, ready to dive into the terrifying tale of Matt's encounter with the unspeakable, so grab your blankets and turn off the lights and get ready for an unforgettable, terrifying journey. Episode 7, The Cannibal Hotel. Matt and his wife Sheila had been driving for hours. The long hours on the road had been exhausting, and they needed to find a place to rest. As they drove through one small, isolated town after another, they realized that they might not find a hotel for miles. They'd heard about an old hotel in the next town, and despite its unattractive reviews, it was the only option they had. The lobby was deserted and the air inside was stale and musty. Matt pushed the bell on the front desk, but there was no response. He peered around the counter and saw no one. They began to consider looking for another hotel, but their exhaustion won over and they decided to take the last room available. Matt and Sheila dragged their duffel bags up the stairs to their room. The hallway was dark and felt like the walls were closing in on them. They finally found their room and they both felt unsure about their decision to stay in this creepy old hotel. They decided to ignore it and went straight to bed. In the middle of the night, Matt was awoken by a strange noise. He opened his eyes and saw something terrifying staring back at him. It was a creature with long, sharp claws and eyes that glowed in the dark. Matt was paralyzed with fear as the beast approached him, its hideous breath filling the room. As the beast got closer, Matt noticed something even more horrifying. In the corner of the room, two figures were munching on what appeared to be human flesh. It was the hotel owner and a group of clients who had checked in earlier that day. They were cannibals, feasting on the flesh of their victims. Matt and Sheila watched in horror as the beasts and their cannibal companions devoured their meal. They felt sick to their stomachs, but were also afraid to move or make any noise in case they were discovered. As the gruesome scene unfolded before them, Matt's instincts kicked in. He silently motioned for Sheila to follow him towards the door. Every step they took felt like an eternity as they feared the creaking floorboards would give them away. As they approached the door, Matt noticed the room key still hanging from a hook on the wall. He stealthily grabbed it to ensure they wouldn't be locked out if they needed to return for any reason. They stepped into the dimly lit hallway, the only sound being their hearts pounding against their chests. As they moved further from the room, the smell of decay and the distant sound of the cannibals' laughter began to fade. It seemed they might make their way out of this horror unscathed. Once outside the hotel, they sprinted to their car and drove away from the town at top speed. When they finally felt they were at a safe distance, they contacted the local authorities and reported the terrifying events that transpired in the hotel. Unable to shake their experience, they checked into another hotel further away, but remained restless for the remainder of their journey. After an investigation, it was revealed that the hotel owner had been leading a secret double life as the ringleader of a cannibalistic cult for many years. The beast, which true nature remained a mystery until the end, guarded the hotel at night as a loyal servant. The building ended up being demolished and the hotel owner and his cannibalistic clients disbanded, each sentenced to a lifetime behind bars. Years passed as Matt and Sheila did their best to put the horrifying events behind them. But one thing was for certain. They would never forget their narrow escape from the darkest of horrors that once haunted an old hotel in a deserted town.